Okay, folks, Andrew Boltbros here. Well, we have another couple signings to the practice squad today on the offensive line, which I thought was pretty interesting. One person I actually didn't think was actually released from the practice squad actually played quite a bit this season during some of our offensive line swizzling and swazzling. But interesting, we signed another person back that I really liked on our undrafted free agents this year back to the practice squad. So I'm kind of excited about this video. I think there's a lot to talk about. Figured it's a good little longer form video, so wanted to get into it. As always, Bolt Bros, let's get into it. Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Bolt Bros. So let's talk a little bit about what the situation is. So the Chargers did sign Josh Keltenberger, again, center. He was an undrafted free agent from Maryland. We'll talk a little bit more about him in a second. Then also tackle Foster Sarell to the practice squad. I'm kind of surprised he was not picked up. Talk more about him in a second as well. And then we did release David Sharpe, another tackle, and then wide receiver Luke Grimm from the practice squad. So they brought two people in, moved two people out. You guys know that's what we do quite a bit in the on the practice squads, or as Jim Harbaugh likes to call it, the opportunity squad. But I thought it was pretty interesting. So let's break it down a little bit. So this gentleman right here, young man, I should say, Josh Kaltenberger, is a center from Maryland. And it's interesting. We all wanted a new center. Bradley Bozeman arguably is coming off of his best day as a center this year from the Raiders. So by far, and he still made some pretty poor plays too, but I think it was his best PFF grades by a long shot. The interesting thing about Kaltenberger, he actually played a little bit in the preseason, and he looked really good. I know a lot of fans wanted us to draft a center. Well, we got Josh Kaltenberger. This was an interesting center draft class. We had a lot of people that were supposed to go high. Like I believe Majors from Texas was supposed to go pretty high. I think he ended up being an undrafted free agent. Kaltenberger was in the same class. For whatever reason, centers did not get drafted this last class at all. It just did not work out. And I don't know why. If you have an opinion on that, leave a comment down below. But Josh, when he played this year in the preseason games, he actually looked pretty good. He actually looked fairly decent, a good serviceable center. So again, he might be our center of the future. We'll have to see how it plays out. I don't suspect he'll come and play anytime soon at this point. But at the end of the day, he is depth on this team as we have him now. But really good player. A lot of people, I watched quite a few videos breaking down his footage from the preseason games. I think he played in, it was either the first or the second one for the most part, and he did a good job. He really, really did. And I was very impressed with what he did. His footwork was decent. Again, he made a few, he had a hard time picking up some stunts and a few other things as well too. But overall, a good center, someone you could work with. Maybe give him another offseason, have him go to some camps and some other things as well, work on his craft to get better, and then maybe potentially, push Bradley Bozeman for a spot this next upcoming season. So we'll see how it plays out. But he's a younger guy, again, undrafted free agent from Maryland. So very impressed to see that we signed him back. We'll see how it plays out. And the other guy we signed back is Foster Sarell. Foster Sarell's been a bit of a journeyman. If you remember Foster Sarell, he and Justin Herbert are really good friends. He was not re-signed this last season, signed with the Commanders. The Commanders released him at the beginning of the season. We signed him back to practice squad. He was elevated a number of times. I think he actually played right tackle, right guard, I believe, this season. So guys, in the comments below, let me know. This just goes to show you how many people can come in and out of the 53-man roster, off the practice squad, back onto the practice squad, potentially back. I mean, look, it's a bit of a revolving door. And again, we've had so many injuries on the offensive line, but I really like Foster Sarell. Again, he's not that guy that's going to step in and be absolutely amazing, right? The NFL's tough. But he came in, when he came in, he has opportunities. He looked pretty good, right? He did okay. And, the difference between starting and not starting are very minor. I mean, again, look at someone like Jamari Sawyer, who looked actually very good at left tackle last week. Why wasn't he there? Jim Harbaugh even had a conversation and said, look, like, hey, we kind of missed it. We didn't think he would be the guy. He's not a prototypical left tackle. Foster Sarell is a prototypical tackle, right? He's a big dude. You would probably, in a perfect world, want him to move to left tackle if possible, but clearly he hasn't scored well enough to be on that side. So again, he's a depth piece, good opportunity. Now, again, I think he's also going to have a harder time making the field because if you did notice last week versus the Raiders, Trevor Penning was out quite a bit. He was sort of the swing tackle. He lined up a few times on the left side opposite Jamari Sawyer. So he got lined up in like a tight end type of formation. So that was like the 22 personnel, really heavy sets going after 1 or 2 yards type of formation. So anyways, so again, we'll see what happens. Hopefully no more injuries this season. We'll see how it plays out. But Foster Sarell, obviously, Justin Herbert, him, good friends. We'll see how it plays out. Anyways, interesting one to note moving forward. Now, we did also relieve David Sharpe. David Sharpe was a guy that we had signed. I believe he came in once Joe Alt went down, either the first time or the second time. I'm pretty sure it was the first time. He was brought in, worked him out. Clearly, Greg Roman knows him from his time at the Ravens. He's a big dude. He's getting up there in age, though, but he was really a depth piece on that practice squad. I do think it makes sense to bring in Kaltenberger back and then also Foster Sarell because I do think they have more youth and more ability to potentially step in and play moving forward. Sharpe is actually, I think he's 30-some years old, if I remember correctly. So he was released, I think, largely for that reason. Probably wasn't going to play this year for various amounts of reasons. But again, bringing Foster Sarell and Kaltenberger back, I think made more sense. Now, the one that kind of breaks my heart is Luke Grimm. I know we have a few viewers that really like Luke Grimm. He was an undrafted free agent from obviously Kansas. He is a Ladd McConkey type of guy. I think they're almost exactly the same size, same weight, etc. He struggled from some preseason woes. If you recall, he had a few balls in punt returns that he could not field. They fumbled, I think, 2 balls, if I remember correctly, in punt returns or kickoffs. I can't remember. I think it was punt returns. And so that's where he struggled to really make this squad. He also struggled with the fact that we've had no injuries on the wide receiver room. I mean, guys, think about it, right? We've had all these injuries on the offensive line, running backs, and it's nothing on the wide receiver room. So, people like KLS and all these other folks, they can't make the field, right? They're just not going to have an ability to play. So I think Luke Grimm has also been one of those people where, unfortunately for him, we haven't had any injuries. Now, I do wonder if a team does pick him up, so I'll be tracking and monitoring that. I do think he might be somebody that maybe a team that has had some wide receiver issues. He could potentially be someone that they go after and target and bring in on their practice squad. So we'll see what happens. But I really like Luke Grimm. I think he was a great guy. Again, young player, very exciting player. Much like Kaltenberger as in the center position, even in the wide receiver position, it's very hard, guys, as a rookie to come to the league and make a splash. Even if you're an undrafted free agent, even if you're a first-round pick, guys, how many first-round picks are just complete busts? The reality is this: it's very difficult to be successful in the NFL all the time. With Luke Grimm, I think the biggest issue with him specifically is, again, he hasn't had an opportunity to be on the field. He's one of those people that just is going to have to continue to just work on his craft to get better, and we'll see what happens next year. I really don't suspect we go after any wide receivers. I think next year in the draft, we probably pretty much just, focus 100% on our offensive line and maybe defensive line moving forward. But, we'll see. Luke Grimm, I think a lot of people, when they saw him on the field, he is a very good player, obviously good at punt returns. Maybe he replaces even someone like Darius Davis next year. To be fair, I actually think that was probably what the initial thought was. He's a little bit bigger than Darius Davis. Darius Davis is like 160 pounds soaking wet, guys. I'm not joking. He is a small guy. At least Luke Grimm is a little bit more physical, put on a few more pounds. I think he could really be a guy. So, we'll see what happens. I do not suspect him to come up this season, but something to talk about moving forward into next year. So, just want to give you an update on the practice squad findings. Again, two additions, two subtractions. But plenty to talk about in this. So, guys, what do you think? Leave a comment down below. And, guys, we will also be at the Eagles game. I will be hopping on a plane here very shortly. We are also going live. I will be at an event, I believe, in Santa Monica Friday night. We are going to be going live on the Bolt Bros channel. NFL Mike will be there. A few other content creators will be there as well, too. It's going to be a great event. It will be live on our channel Friday night. So tune in and check that out. We are going to be at the Eagles game as well, too. So if you're at the game, if you guys see us, come say hello. All right, folks. As always, Andrew Bolt Bros. See you guys in the next one.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night.